Exactly, because you want to know what I did over this weekend? There's this anime called it's called Mashle, Magic and Muscle. And it's currently 2 seasons. Each season is 12 episodes. I've watched 35 episodes. No, not 35, 25 or something. I've watched the entire first season and 8 episodes of the second season. Literally across Saturday and Sunday. Okay. Yeah. Should I have been watching Game of Thrones? Yes. Was I in the mood to watch Game of Thrones? No. I wanted to watch anime, and I watched anime.
Something that's going to make you feel a lot of comfort before you watch a literal hell.
And so the reason why is because this is a comedy anime. So I have so many notes. I was telling Carson before, I have so many notes. Literally I have notes for every single episode, but I'm not going to go an episode by episode synopsis. That would take forever and be its own podcast. But essentially, to give you a synopsis and what I think about the show so far, since we're also going to get a season 3 and I'm not done with season 2 yet, I have mixed feelings. So essentially, this is kind of a combination of 2 different properties. It's a combination of Harry Potter. And when I say combination, I'll run you through some specifics. They literally copy, like, you've seen Harry Potter, obviously. So they have you not seen Harry Potter?
No, I've seen Harry Potter. That my face was
okay.
copying.
I don't know. Your face scared me. So you know how one of the first things they do in class is the mandrake? You don't know what one of the first things they do in this? It's the mandrake. Oh, they have wands. There's an old guy that gives them wands. There's an alley where everyone can get all their stuff. There's 3 houses instead of 4, and they're called dorms. There's dorm points that they can get.
So what I'm hearing is this is Harry Potter, and people probably should sue the property.
So you know when I said it's 2 properties? So it's Harry Potter mixed with another anime that I actually really love, called One Punch Man. Very, very brief synopsis. Do you know what One Punch Man is? Do I need to give you a quick rundown? Okay.
I know what One Punch Man is.
Okay, so I don't need to give. For anyone who doesn't know what One Punch Man is, go look it up. It's pretty self-explanatory. But essentially, it's a combination of those 2 properties. And the way that is done is, One Punch Man's a comedy, but also it's about a guy who's way too strong for his own good. Our main character's name is Mash, voiced by, I would say, my favorite voice actor of the modern one of my favorite voice actors, Alex Lee. He voiced Sung Jin Woo in Solo Leveling. He also voiced so many other characters. Carson knows this name. He doesn't watch anime, but he knows this name because I got the chance to meet Alex Lee and waited in an insanely long line at MegaCon. I have a picture of me with him and a signature.
I went to a panel on the opposite side of the convention center, and you were still in line an hour and a half later after I got back.
Yep. Do I regret it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Alex Lee is he is so good. And so anyways, the main character's name is Mash, and he lives in a world with he has no magic. But to make up for that magic, and this is where the first word in this title comes, or one of the first words, is muscle. He literally is basically Saitama for One Punch Man. He is ungodly levels of strength. And where the comedy comes in is he is the most monotone person ever.
Sure.
He just kind of he's such a sweetheart, but he has never really interacted with a lot of people before because you have to hide the fact that you don't have magic. And one of the reasons why he can't go out is because the way that they know that you have magic is you literally have lines on your face that are created by the magic. Obviously, he doesn't have any of those lines because he doesn't have magic, so he can't really show his face all that much.
Sure.
And he's actually abandoned as a child because he doesn't have magic, and is actually raised by a surrogate father, who is such a sweetheart, old guy, super, super nice. But the crux of this is essentially the magic police. And I'm gonna pull up the character's name because he's voiced by someone you would know. Rad Coleman is the name of the character. He's voiced by the voice of Frankie from... Actually, you haven't gotten to this part of One Piece yet. There's a character named Frankie in One Piece that you'll meet later. He's voiced by the same guy. He's also the voice of Endeavor from My Hero Academia, which is another anime you haven't seen.
Yeah.
Super prolific voice actor. Recognized it literally. I was like, that's Frankie from One Piece. Again, you have not gotten there yet. You're actually really close. I guess really close. You're a few arcs off, not super far away.
Sure.
I think you have 2 arcs before you meet him. Sure. He's one of the best characters. You'll love him. I think he might become one of your favorites, not to spoil. But yeah. Anyways, back to Mashle. This Rad Coleman, the magic police guy, finds out that Mash doesn't have magic and essentially gives Mash an ultimatum. Either I kill you, because literally the punishment for not having magic in this world is execution. Like, you literally just die. Because the way that they've bred up to having magic and having super strong magic is natural selection, essentially. If you don't have magic, you die, so that only people with magic can reproduce in this world. And that's one of the interesting things, and I'll get into this a little more later. It's not just a comedy. There's also a lot of gravity to the situations that are going on. But anyway, Mash gets found out. He then gets placed with an ultimatum. The magic police rad guy, he tells Mash, if you can become I need to look back up the name of this because, again, I should have been all over the place, so I didn't have a chance to review my notes before this. Oh, I literally wrote this in here. The castle in this that they go to school in, because he goes to a magic school as well. It literally just is here. It's just Hogwarts. It literally is just Hogwarts. The castle it's just Hogwarts. How do you when you talk about suing, like, but there is I'm trying to find the name of it. Why am I forgetting it? Essentially, there is a test at this magic school. The whole point of it is to take this test to become one of the most powerful wizards in the world.
Sure.
And Mash is challenged with passing that without magic. Otherwise, he dies. Now, the reason the police officer Rad is doing this is because having that position comes with a lot of fame and money and things like that. And Rad wants to mooch off of that from Mash. He wants to be like, oh, well, like, I helped Mash, and like, oh, he owes me, and things like that. So it's a very selfish reason.
Right.
But to kind of breeze through all of these episodes, even though I would love to do an in-depth, like, look into each of these episodes.
One day.
Essentially, yeah, one day, maybe when you watch it, one day, maybe, if you do. But essentially, Mash goes to this magic school. He makes a bunch of friends. He makes a bunch of enemies. His main stick, and this is again where one of the comedy aspects is he loves cream puffs. It's a really weird, but kind of it's one of those stupid funny things. Like, it's overused to the point in which you just can't help but laugh at how stupid it is.
It's the anime awkward humor, which I've actually got
exactly.
I've started to kind of like, especially with like Sanji and whatnot. So I get that. I completely get that.
Oh yeah. But anyways, he goes through the entrance, because the entrance exam is also really difficult to get in here. It's only a 3% pass rate. Mash passes it with ease, because again, he's the main character and he's also just insanely strong. Now, he has his own creative ways of doing so. One of the main things of this entrance exam is they're placed into this maze and they have to get out with spells. You know what Mash does? He just punches holes through the maze. Like, you know those walls that are a meter thick that are made out of, like, solid, like, dirt and rock? Yeah, fuck that. I'm just gonna punch through it. Screw it. But that's where a lot of the story kind of, the crux comes to it. And this is kind of where I'll not end this off, but kind of talk through this, is a lot of the main villains of this story. A lot of it is that idea of, it's classism. It's the sense of, I was born with magic. Again, you have lines, and most people are single liners, but then you have double liners who are like really powerful, and then you have triple liners, which are even more powerful. And everyone who has magic, and especially people with multiple lines, have insanely big egos in the sense of, oh, well, I am one of them literally says, like, I am God's gift to this earth. Like, I am what God wanted, because everyone believes that,
Sure.
like, God gave the world magic. Like, that was God's gift to the earth was magic, and if you don't have magic, that means God hates you, so then you should die. Again, that's kind of where the idea comes from. But
Okay.
that idea of classism is very interesting because MASH, it's definitely a story about MASH, but there's also a huge ensemble cast. You have Lemon. Lemon's the female. Lemon's in love with MASH, because MASH saves Lemon in the entrance exam. It's
Okay.
very awkward, but very funny because she believes that they're engaged. Um, they're
Bro.
obviously not. Okay, here's the
Right.
thing. Again, it's kind of that standard anime weirdness, but it's
Sure.
kind of
Yeah.
that, like, again, when it gets used in the way that it is, I can't help but laugh. Like, is it stupid?
Hell
Is it
yeah.
cringy? Absolutely. But I just love to laugh. The reason I watch this, especially instead of Game of Thrones, is because, like, Game of Thrones is so heavy. I have not laughed like once at Game of Thrones because, like, especially this recent episode, which we'll talk about later. Um,
Yeah.
but there's no laughing going on.
Sure.
So yeah, I wanted to watch something funny, and yeah, basically so you have Lemon. You also have Lance. Lance is kind of, he starts off as a bully. Mash breaks. That's the other thing, is like Mash's whole idea is like, I'm gonna bring you around. Well, I guess technically it's an unintentional thing because Mash is just so nice he can't have enemies. So like someone like bullies him and tries to like hurt him, and then he's just like, oh, let's be friends afterward. Like, you're not that bad of a guy, because everyone has to have a tragic backstory. Everyone's been beaten by their parents.
Sure.
Everyone has major, like, it's kind of like
Everybody
the
has
whole
to have
One Piece
something.
thing of it. Every main character in One Piece has the most tragic backstory you'll ever hear in your life.
Right.
As
The
you've already seen, and as
the
you'll
friggin' whale has a
Laboon.
Laboon has a backstory. Everything has to
Yeah,
be so dark and
exactly.
depressing. But I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But yeah, so but he kind of like he brings them around, and again, I would love to talk more in depth about this, but for the interest of time, I'll kind of like synopsize my feelings about the whole show. The animation quality is not all over the place. It's very interesting because it's kind of flat in an interesting, like, not in a bad way, but it kind of gives an interesting contrast. There's a fight that's right at the beginning of season 2 where you're kind of getting to the more powerful characters of the universe,
Sure.
and the animation quality, I feel like, takes like, sorry, my cat keeps jumping on things. But it's a fight between someone who uses music magic and someone who uses sword magic, and the animation quality, I feel like, just took an insane jump where I'm sitting there like, I didn't even take notes other than like, this is fucking sick. Because I was just standing there like, ooh, everything else is kind of like flat in a way. And I feel like it's kind of the same with the humor. When the humor hits, I feel like for me, it hits. But a lot of the times, again, it can feel a little overused. I feel like the influences from Harry Potter are nice. Like, literally, I feel like every single episode, there's something that they stole from Harry Potter. They have a game that is Quidditch. It's literally just a modified version of Quidditch. You fly on broomsticks in a stadium. You throw a ball through hoops that, like, rings. There's no golden snitch, but that's like, and there's only one ball, but like, it's their version of Quidditch. Another thing I didn't talk about, I kind of did, is the way that you progress to even be able to take the final exam is you have to collect these coins, but these coins are essentially just the replacement for house points, in the sense of, you do something really good or impressive, you get a coin or a fraction of a coin. And I don't have a problem with things taking influence. Like, if this was just a magical world, but the fact that your castle just is Hogwarts, the fact that you have a broom game that literally just feels like Quidditch, the fact that you have like the wands the way that they are, where the wand kind of chooses you, like, I feel like the influences are a little too heavy.
They're too
I feel like
on
we
the
are getting,
nose.
yeah, we like, the main villain is definitely one that's, I wouldn't say a Voldemort copy, he has a little bit more nuance and interest to him. We're kind of getting finally into his story.
Yeah.
But it's not really subtle, and it can't be subtle because it feels like a copy paste. And I'm not
Sure.
complaining about that. I don't want this to be me complaining about it. I do just want to be upfront with it in the sense of, if you're going to watch this, like, expect that you're just getting a comedy Harry Potter One Punch Man. Like, that is all
Sure.
this is. It does try to be deep, and it does succeed in that in certain ways, in the sense of, like, again, the story of classism, the story of
Sure.
being belittled and bullied and things like that. And a lot of that
Yes.
stuff is pulled off really tastefully, but it really can't outlive what it's trying to be in the sense of that
Yeah.
One Punch Man or whatever.
Sure.
And I don't think it's better than either of those. I would put this, like, where I'm at right now. Like, I know we don't rate things, but I'd give it like a probably 7.5 out of 10. In the sense of, like, I'm enjoying it and I'm going to watch it until it ever finishes with either season 3, season, wherever it ends, because I do enjoy it. It gives me a good laugh, and it's
Sure.
a really good feel good show, especially like after an episode of Game of Thrones. Like, put it on and just laugh.
Sure.
But I don't know. I'll talk
It
about one
yeah.
last.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I
No,
get what you're
you
saying.
can say what you were saying. Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, like, it because it does sound a lot like it's. I'm not the word is very bad if I say mid. That's not a good word to use, but like the way you're
It's
describing
definitely
it is
above mid, but you're not entirely wrong in the sense of, like, it's standard. I will say this. It
it's
doesn't,
okay.
and this is kind of what I was, yeah, this is kind of what I was getting at in the sense of, it doesn't do anything new, but it does do things that have been done before well. That's like the
Sure.
easiest way to describe it. Is it going to blow your socks off? Absolutely not. Maybe it does later on, and I'm not there yet. Because I also haven't read
Sure.
the manga, but maybe it does get there. But for where I'm at right now, I'm enjoying my time with it, and I will continue to watch it. It's never gonna reach, like, at least where it stands right now, even my top 20 favorite anime list probably. Just because, again, it's kind of one of those just standard shows that's fun to watch.